Good day to everyone. So let's begin our next lecture. Today's our lecture is devoted to the topic etiquette of researchers. So looking at the picture, maybe you have guessed. We are going to talk about the etiquette rules of people who are conducting research and who just really want to defend their dissertation paper. I do hope that you will get some useful information from today's lecture. So let's begin. People behave themselves differently in different situations because different situations require different norms of behavior. When we speak about ethics, this is a discipline concerned with what is morally good and bad, right or wrong. Some situations prefer your behavior, but the same behavior can be accepted as wrong or bad according to the situation. So today we would like you to know the rules of behaving yourself during your research process. How are the researchers supposed to behave? Have you ever thought about it? First of all, you have to learn to recognize the most common ethical mistakes. A lot of researchers may come to difficult situations because of their bad behavior with professors, maybe with people who they want just to interview. And it's good to learn from your mistakes, and it's better to learn from other people's mistakes as well. The researcher is like a student or a pupil who searches, who studies. During the educational process, we make a lot of mistakes. And here, we should know how to confess our mistakes. And if we see other people's mistakes, we should take into consideration not to repeat them anymore. And the next rule is not to disturb others' workplaces or equipment without asking first. And they advise us to avoid playing loud music or having loud phone conversation when others are trying to concentrate, especially that's required at the library, the research room. If you are working in a lab, observe the safety rules and wear any required protective clothing. That's also just the etiquette of conducting. If the condition situation requires to have a uniform, do it please. Be careful with locking the room. Don't leave it unlocked if you are the last to leave at night. But don't lock it if a colleague has just went out for a coffee without their keys. When leaving the laboratory or when leaving the library or just the reading room, first of all, look through very carefully. Is somebody in? And try to lock everything, the door, the windows, and so on. It's also just supposed to be one of the etiquette rules of researchers. They advise us not to bring strong-smelling food or drinks into a shared workplace, into libraries. Strong-smelling food will attract others' attention. If you have signed up for something, be on time. If you cannot make it, let the organizers know. If you have some kind of appointment, or if you have got a meeting with interviewer and you cannot come, please warn them beforehand. Don't rely on colleagues' expertise for everything. If you have questions or problems that aren't related to your field, you can get assistance from specialists. There are a lot of specialists in the field that you are conducting. Don't always disturb your colleagues. After you have finished reading a book, please return it to the library. So do not fabricate and falsify or mispresent data. Specialists require from us to respect our intellectual property. Copyrights, owner patents, and other forms of intellectual property should be respected by people. should be kept carefully. And one of the bad behaviors of researchers are plagiarism. They advise us never plagiarize or never copy and paste other people's ideas. If you copy and paste, so give just the information about the literature that you have used. Protect confidential communication. Keep some kind of information in secret. Avoiding discrimination on the basis of sex, race, religion is very important for the researcher. Sometimes animals can be an object of research. They advise us to show proper respect and care for the animals. When conducting research on human subjects, minimize harms and risk and maximize benefits. Respect human dignity, privacy, and autonomy. On the screen, you can see 7 areas of scientific dishonesty. We'll speak one by one about them. The first one I've just told about, plagiarism. Using the idea, writings, and drawings of others as your own. Falsification. Making up on an alternate date. You make something false. You cheat. So non-publication of data, that means not including in the results because they don't support the desired outcomes. That means you do not include some kind of information because they don't support the results. When we speak about faulty data gathering, that means collecting data from participants who are not complying with the requirements of the study, using faulty equipment. They advise us to record data accurately, store them in a safe and private place for 3 or 2 years. They advise us to treat subjects with respect and dignity. The data that you have collected should be available for examination. Confidentiality of the participants should be kept in secret. When we speak about misleading the authorship, that means we shouldn't include as an author of the work the people who are not relevant to the work, to the project, to the scientific research. Authorship should be included in the case when they did something for the conduct, when they participated in the research. And sometimes when they publish some kind of publication, sometimes they involve or they add the people who are not authors of the book. First of all, the students or the master's name should be included into the list of the authors. There are a lot of other behaviors that you should follow, but it's high time to finish the lecture. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for your attention. We do hope that you got some useful information about the etiquette, about the do's and don'ts concerning to the ethics of researchers. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.